Alright, hey, this is Szymanski Arts, and what I'm doing today, or what I'm going to be doing today, is repairing a slightly broken toy, Mystery Mini. It's missing a piece. That's basically what I'm going to be doing. This guy's from the Star Wars universe. This guy right here. Okay, to kind of show you, there's a flap on this side, and then there is not a flap on this side. Alright, we're basically just going to be creating a new flap and putting that on there. Alright folks, here we go. I do have one that is not broken, so we're going to use that as a guiding tool, or a whatever you want to call it, reference material tool. Okay, first thing I do, skipping along here real quick, put them aside, take a piece of clay and I basically roll it out fairly thin. Okay, alright, and then we're basically just gonna place it in the spot where it needs to be. Okay, alright, and then we'll make this so that it sits in there, and then what I'll do is I'll take my master tool somewhere. Here it is. And we'll shape it as best we can. Okay, so there we go. But we're gonna make it so that it fits in that spot to where I can take it off and on. There we go, like this. Okay, alright, let me look at my reference material part piece. Okay, and we'll just kind of do that. Anyways, I'm going to bake this, and then we're going to work off of this piece after we've baked it. Alright, let me take my X-Acto knife and we'll cut into this a little bit. Alright, alright, let's take this back. Okay, okay, so we're going to give it the rough shape that it is, and then we're going to bake this piece, and this will cure it and make it hard, and I can work better off of that, because right now it's too soft, and again it's real tiny, so it's going to be very difficult to work with when it's that small. Plus I can sand it with a Dremel drill or something. But anyways, right now I just want to make it the basic shape, and then make it so that it can like pop off and on real easy like. Okay, so right now I'm just gonna shape this a little bit, I guess, but we'll bake this in a little bit and then we'll come back. But let me work on this, shape this a little bit closer to how the actual piece is before I bake it. But the main thing, to try not to drabble on too much, the main thing is to make sure that I can pop this on and off real easy like. It's in shape, so when I glue it into place it'll be a lot easier. Okay? Okay, one more little cut here. Alright, cool. Okay, so we'll be back in a little bit. Alright, that was oven at 375 for about 2 minutes, and this piece has now been hardened, so now I can work off of it a little bit easier. It fits in there like a glove. So now basically all I need to do is take an X-Acto knife, and we'll start just like cutting into it ever so carefully. But that's what we're gonna do. Okay, I'm going to cut into this. Let me see if I can show you this. Cut into this piece with an X-Acto knife. Okay, smooth out those edges. Okay, alright, we'll just place that back in there, and we'll just kind of slowly work that to where it like resembles the original piece, or this unbroken piece. Okay, cool. Maybe I'll take some sandpaper to it and cut into it a little bit better. Or maybe if it gets to be too difficult with the X-Acto knife, I'll just take a Dremel drill to it, which is what I'm probably going to end up doing. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So let me get my Dremel drill right here, and we'll just cut into this ever so carefully. Okay. Alright, cool. I'll work on this for a little bit, and I'll be right back. Alright, cool. Okay, let me show you. I've Dremel drilled it a bit to get it better into the right shape, but let me show you the back side, which is what I didn't really show you. It kind of fits in there kind of like a puzzle piece. That's what I needed it to do. Okay, but now that I've Dremeled it a little bit closer to how it should be, I'm going to start adding some more clay to shape it more accurately. So right now it's just kind of like in a shape, basic shape, but I have to create somewhat of a curl with it. Okay, so we're just going to add some clay ever so carefully to the piece. Take my little magic tool. This is going to be hard to videotape. Right. Periodically looking at my reference point piece, and yeah, so this is what we do. Slowly working it. I should probably, to better smooth this, I can use some alcohol, but whoops. Alcohol helps you work in the surface so that it's whoops, kind of acts like a lubricant. Helps to smooth stuff into place better. Alright, cool. This is popping off a little bit here and there, but whoops. Anyways, I'm gonna work on this. I'll be back. Okay, here she is, the second curing or baking of the item piece after I added the clay to the original piece. I have to tell you that this is purposely made larger than it really should be. I don't know if you can really tell or not, but the reason being is it's hard to sculpt this size, and plus I can just take a Dremel drill and trim it into shape. But I just want to make sure I had a solid piece, so I made it just a little bit bigger than it really needed to be. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna pop him off and work on it with the Dremel drill, and we'll see see how she came out. All right, cool. All right, let's do the inside portion. Okay, and periodically I'm going to stop what I'm doing, place it in the spot, and make sure that I'm getting it correct. Looking at my reference point, reference guy, and there we go. Alright, cool. Alright, folks, after a little bit of time with a Dremel drill, I think I've got it pretty close to how it's supposed to be, or the size. There we go. We won't really be able to tell until I paint it, but before I screw things up, I'm probably going to just leave it at this. Of course, it doesn't look quite right with it not being painted, but it seems to be looking pretty decent. Alright, cool. Move on to the next step. Alright, folks, I've taken this as far as I can take it, being able to sculpt it in my hand. Because it's so small. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it into place, and then I'm probably going to take an X-Acto knife and trim out it even closer and better. Basically, I'm going to glue this into place right now. I'm going to get me some Gorilla Glue. I always use this stuff. The cool thing about it is it stays fairly clean. So, and if I over glue, I can just chip it off with an X-Acto knife after it dries. So got that in frame. We just fit this guy in place. Oops. Okay, there we go. Press it a little bit, and it should be pretty good. Yeah. Alright, cool. Like I said, I can like trim this piece out a little bit better, being attached to a more firm surface, or a larger surface than just my fingers and hands, because it's so small. It's hard to sculpt with that, or hard to shape it. So I get it as close as I can get it like this, and then I'll take an X-Acto pen knife, like you've seen earlier in the video, and trim it down a little bit better. Alright, let me screw on this here Gorilla Glue thing. Okay, press this a little bit more. So, but it looks like it's going to come out really nice. Alright, okay, cool. I'll be back in a little bit. Well, maybe tomorrow. I'll wait for this stuff to dry. Yeah, okay, cool. Alright, now that it's dried into place, I can take my X-Acto knife and sharpen this up a little bit better. I'm going to take my other piece, my reference piece right here. I'm just going to look at it, see where I need to make corrections, and then we'll just slowly cut into it. And there we go. Because I noticed there were some spots that weren't still quite right. Alright, so we're just gonna work into this. Okay, looking at my reference material to make sure we get this right. Alright, cool. You're probably thinking, gosh, this is a lot of work, and I'm like, yeah. But I don't really care. This is just something I get a kick out of doing. Alright, so I'm going to work on this for a little while, come back, and it should be done and ready to be taken on to the next step, which is the painting part. Alright, okay, enough with this entry. Alright, cool. Alright, there was one little spot that wasn't quite right, so I mixed this epoxy stuff, and we're going to fix that spot. It's real tiny, but it's going to drive me nuts if I don't freaking fix it. This is a two-part mixture of two types of substance, clay type substances. You mix together and it creates a type of self-hardening clay. And you just apply it to whatever project you're working on. And obviously this is the project I'm working on. Okay, so just this tip part here was not quite right. So we're gonna use that stuff to fix that. Alright, cool. I'm gonna, as you can see, you just kinda shape it into place. So, and then you can sand this as well, which I don't think I'm probably gonna need to do, but I need some water here to smooth this out. Alright, I'm going to work on that and it'll be alright. Cool. Alright, I think I got it as close as I can get it, so I'm going to just start painting her. I'm going to do a slightly glossed paint, see how that turns out. And then I mixed it with some flat black, so we'll be able to tell once it dries out. I'll be able to tell if it's right or not. I'll have to tweak it a little bit. Alright, so there we go. We're like almost done. Whoops, there we go. Anyways, cool. Alright, I'll be back in a second. Alright, cool. Alright, I'm going to have to paint a little bit on the back side as well. I'm going to use a regular flat black. Hopefully that'll hide these little imperfections. What happened here was I had to use a sandpaper to sand it down, and I ended up clipping the actual toy. So we're going to put some flat black on here, and hopefully that dries up pretty uniform to the regular toy. Alright, after having painted it, it didn't seem quite right, so I went ahead and went over it with some of that two-part stuff, two-part epoxy stuff, and then we're going to repaint it. It didn't seem quite right. It wasn't like big enough, I guess you could say. But anyways, kind of like a moot point. I don't know if I really need to showcase this part of it, but sometimes, like I said, you don't necessarily know how close you have something until you actually paint it, and then you can see, like I says, the imperfections and all that. So anyways, we're gonna see if this is closer. Alright, cool. Alright folks, here we go. First off, thanks for sitting through that. I know that seemed to be a lot of work for such a little project, but it's done and it came out pretty decent. This is the non-repaired piece, okay, and then here's the repaired piece. Not an exact match, but I think it looks pretty close, pretty decent, pretty good. That's the back side. Show the back sides together. So, but anyway, that's that. Okay, again, if you'd like to leave a message, that's cool. If not, that's cool, but I hope you enjoyed it either way. Okay, and I think that's all we needed to say in the exit portion of the video. Okay, sounds good. All right, peace.